Hello, this is Decorah Schools Superintendent Mark Lean. Thank you for taking some time to watch this summary of the condition of the district presentation. This is a summary of a full presentation that was shared with our staff Wednesday, January 8th. There were 4 desired outcomes of the presentation. The first was around our financial health, the second around key academic outcomes. Third, I shared out details about what I believe I've learned during my first 6 months working in our district. And finally, I introduced some key actions we are going to be taking in the second half of the year to improve our system. Our annual budget is around $25 million. How much money we receive and where that money comes from is formula-driven and dictated by Iowa code and federal law. In late February, our business manager, Kathy Dietzenbach, and I will attend a meeting at Keystone AEA in Elkader, along with other business managers and superintendents from around Northeast Iowa. We will access an Excel spreadsheet created by the Iowa Department of Management called the Aid and Levy Worksheet, and we will begin building our budget for the 2020-2021 school year. While the spreadsheet is dozens of lines long, a majority of the cells are locked and unchangeable because they are formula-driven as described in Iowa code. The most important factor in school budget creation is student enrollment. Every student is connected to a per-pupil amount, and we rely on the Iowa legislature to know what that per-pupil amount will be each year. For this school year, for example, each of our students generated $6,900. As the legislature engages in its work over the next few months, they will set a percentage of growth for state supplemental aid, which will increase that per-pupil amount. Of the approximate $25 million in our full annual budget, a little over $18.5 million goes into our general fund. Other funds are dedicated for specific purposes and can only be spent in certain ways or on certain items. I've listed some examples of categorical funding, but this is not an exhaustive list. When I think about school budgets, it can be hard for me to wrap my mind around the millions and millions of dollars involved. In order to gain a better understanding, I like to think about how we spend each dollar. This graph shows how Decorah Community School District spent one general fund dollar in the 2017-2018 school year. For each general fund dollar that we spent, 56 cents went to teacher compensation and benefits, 21 cents went to supplies, substitute teachers, and other non-categorical costs. 8 cents of each dollar went to administrator compensation and benefits, 8 cents went to support staff compensation and benefits, 4 cents went to custodial maintenance and ground staff compensation and benefits, and 3 cents went to transportation staff compensation and benefits. Every school district in Iowa dedicates a majority of the general fund to the salaries and benefits of employees. Typically, about 75 to 80% of our money annually goes into our people. In the same way that our own personal finances have limitations, school districts face limitations on the funds that we can generate and that we can borrow. When a district needs to build a new school, the sky is not the limit. District business officials, superintendents, and school boards work with financial advisors in order to be in the best position possible to fund a project. But even if voters would say we are willing to be taxed whatever it takes to build a new facility, there would be limits on what the school district could do. As stewards of taxpayer money, it's critical that we understand where our money comes from, how it can be spent, the impact on taxpayers, and that we spend it legally and ethically, and that we monitor some key indicators of our financial health and sustainability. The Iowa Association of School Boards has 7 recommended key indicators of financial health. We are going to look at what I believe are the 2 most important. The first is unspent authorized budget. Each year, a formula in Iowa code generates a school district's maximum spending authority. In relation to your own personal finances, you could think of this as what you could spend if you maxed out all your lines of credit. Just as you would never want to max out your own credit, we don't want to surpass our maximum spending authority, and it is actually illegal to do so. Iowa Association of School Boards recommends school districts maintain an unspent authorized budget percentage between 5 and 15%. We have done a great job of holding this percentage at a good level, about 11 to 12% over the past several years. The second financial health indicator we will examine is our solvency ratio. You can relate solvency ratio to maintaining a healthy balance in your savings account in your own personal finances. Iowa School Finance operates on a July 1st to June 30th fiscal year. As the fiscal year comes to a close each June, we need to have cash on hand to pay bills and continue to operate. Iowa Association of School Boards recommends district keep our annual solvency ratio between 5 to 15%. Again, you can see we have done that over the past several years. So, why do I feel it's important for everyone to have an understanding of these fundamental basics of school finance? Well, because in my own experience, the people who work in schools and the people who live in the communities that schools serve sometimes perceive school funding as an unlimited source of funding. But in reality, our budget is a limited bucket of money each year, and we can only spend each dollar once, and we can only spend each dollar in a certain way. We can be thankful that we are currently in a healthy financial position, but it doesn't take much for things to change. Given our current reality, certain key ideas should be driving our thinking about our finances. First, we are lucky to be one of the few rural Iowa schools with stable enrollment. But all we have to do is look around our state to see other rural districts are not so fortunate. We are wise to monitor our enrollment projections, and we will project budgets based on expected enrollments, and we will be purposeful in how we plan for the future. Our recent consolidation does make predicting that future more difficult because we don't have past experiences on which to base projections. We are a brand new school district this year, and it will take time to establish new trends in these key indicators that we've discussed. Over the next few years, we will stabilize, we will build new trends, and we'll have a better understanding of our unspent authorized budget and solvency ratio. Moving forward, I will always advise our board using two key responsibilities: maintaining good health in our key indicators and putting us in the best position for our community to vote yes when the time comes to pass a bond referendum. Next, we will touch on our academic health. Every January for the past several years, the Iowa Department of Education has updated a website called the Iowa Schools Performance Profiles. This is a publicly available website that communicates multiple factors of system well-being for every district and school site in our state. The current publicly available performance profile data was gathered throughout the 2017-2018 school year. That will change toward the end of this month, and the data from last year, 2018-2019, will be available to the public. In the current system, Iowa schools are given a label: priority, needs improvement, acceptable, commendable, high-performing, or exceptional. Schools that score at a priority or needs improvement level are required to submit improvement plans to the state. Most recently, our own buildings fell in the commendable and high-performing range. Again, these designations will be updated in a few weeks. School profiles are built on multiple factors. This slide shows our district profile results in comparison to the state average in each measure. We can see that we are at or above the state average in each of the measures our state uses to monitor schools. When the new profiles are released later this month, part of what is reported will use the results from the first ever administration of the new Iowa statewide assessment of student progress. We have already received the results of these assessments from last spring. We know that across our grade levels in English language arts, math, and science, our percentage of students achieving advanced and proficient levels exceeded state averages. In some grades, such as third grade here, we administered English language arts and math assessments. In grades 5, 8, and 10, we administered English language arts, math, and science assessments. Here you are seeing our 5th grade results from spring 2019. Here are our 8th grade results from spring 2019. And here are our 10th grade results from the spring of 2019. We will administer Iowa statewide assessment of student progress assessments in mid-March again this school year. A final academic measure that we monitor annually is our average ACT score. Each year we receive 5-year trend data from ACT. Similar to the performance profile and the Iowa statewide assessment of student progress, we have already seen our students perform above the state average. We should be proud of the work we do to support our students in meeting and exceeding benchmarks that have been set by our state as indicators of student success. These results come from the collective effort of our people and our students, and wouldn't happen without the work that they do on a daily basis. Next, I want to transition to sharing about what I believe I have learned over the past 6 months. In my first 6 months as superintendent, I have asked a lot of questions and done a lot of listening. Over the next few slides, I'm going to summarize our current and desired states as I see them from the conversations that we've had. And I'm going to introduce work we will be doing in the second half of this school year to improve our system. But before I do that, I think it's important for me to address my own ideal future state for our system. I feel strongly that every one of us and every one of our students is a leader, and that we each have the capacity to improve the systems in which we work and learn. I have bolded a portion of my ideal state because I feel it is currently missing from our system, and until we put those things in place, we will struggle to bring this ideal state to life. This graphic is a great representation of who I believe we are right now. We are isolated individuals, isolated PLCs, and individual buildings and departments who are working incredibly hard, and everyone is working with very good intentions, but we might be working at cross purposes. We think we might be that arrow in the middle going in the right direction, and others may be working against us or at cross purposes. This is who I believe we want to be as a system. We want to be in a position to feel interdependence with those around us. We want to harness the power of collective efficacy, and we want to find pride and joy in our collective work. I'm not saying that people don't feel pride and joy in work now, but I see that pride and joy occurring in silos. Individuals understand and feel good about what they do, but they don't have an opportunity to understand and feel pride and joy in the big picture of the system around them. So, how might we go about becoming a more aligned and focused system? During the second half of this year, we will engage in 2 purposeful actions. Each building will be engaging in a plan, do, study, act, or PDSA cycle of learning. And as a district, we will engage in work to clarify our purpose, the areas of focus, and our goals in those areas. Constancy of purpose, strategic planning, and the PDSA cycle are foundational to how I have always approached my work. And as we work through this process, I think there are key ideas we must keep in mind. We should use group dialogue and processing facilitation tools when we bring people together. We should ask open-ended questions and listen to understand. We need full, open, and honest participation from all stakeholders. And then we must provide transparency and feedback based on what we've learned. The essence of what I am asking us to do as a system is to slow down, to use a transparent and repeatable process to understand our system, and to focus our improvement efforts. I believe this is the right work because how we are working now isn't the most effective for our students, nor is it the most rewarding for our employees. Because we are a district of dedicated, hardworking, and creative, innovative people, I am confident that we will create a more desirable system in which to work and learn. In closing, I believe that one of the great failings of the prevailing way we work in education across our country is that we break our system apart and we try to improve those parts in isolation. Those isolated improvements don't end up improving the outcome of the whole. We are going to focus our efforts on improving the system. We are going to use the group to improve the group, and we are going to get better at getting better. Thank you for watching this summary of our 2020 condition of the district, and as always, thank you for your support.